Welcome to the KO Boxing Show. Haven't we got a massive show tonight? None other than future Hall of Famer, three-time world champion, Devon, the great Alexander, all the way from the USA. Welcome to the KO Boxing Show.
Thank you for having me, Peter, my man. It's been a long time. We've been trying to get this interview going, but we finally got it going. So I'm excited to talk to you and my Australian fans.
Great to have you on, buddy. August 2009, let's go back to that great moment when you won your first WBC Super Lightweight World title. What did it feel to you to defeat Junior Witter, who was a top opponent?
Oh, man. When I say he was tricky, he was tricky. He was one of those awkward type of fighters that you really can't time. You got to be patient and let the fight come to you. So, as you know, that was my first world title. That was my first ever world title me fighting for. And when I tell you how excited, ecstatic I was to fight for this world title, I mean, the feeling was so, I was so elated because it all came rushing to me. All the blood, the sweat, the tears, all the push-ups, all the sit-ups, all the miles I ran, all the amateur fights, all the hard work came to that moment. So it was the most humblest feeling in the world. And let me tell you a short story. When I first got to the gym, I was 8 years old, and I saw a picture of Azuma Nelson. He was a WBC champion. He had the green belt on. And I pointed to that picture. I remember me saying, I want that belt. Just so happened, that was the first belt I fought for, the WBC belt, as you can see behind me. It was amazing. It was a dream come true. And, you know, it was a day I never forget, ever.
Wow. In March 2010, you had a TKO win over Juan Durango. What can you remember about that night?
Oh, man, that was, you know, Durango was one of those opponents that you could not drop the ball on. He can KO you with either hand. He was a strong puncher, solid, nothing but muscle-bound, Mike Tyson style. So I knew I had to be on my game that night. And of course, it was for the unification. So I was totally zoned in and focused. So when I was preparing for the fight, you know, a lot of people were saying, man, you know, he was coming off the Randall Bailey fight. He got up off the deck with Randall Bailey, and he's like tough. He got a chin of iron. Nobody can beat him. He's tough. So I made it a point to, I said, okay, everybody was counting me out. Everybody said, I don't know if Devon's ready for Durango. He's tough. He's a tough cookie. So I like when people say I can't do something. I like when people say I like when people say I can't. I like when people say I can't do something, because that's when I'm at my best. When you tell me I can't do something, that's when I'm finna kick his ass. I'm sorry. Can I curse?
No, you can.
I'm telling you. But they was counting me out, so I had to go get ready. And as you can see, I was ready for whatever he threw.
No, I remember that fight quite well. In January 2011, you fought Timothy Bradley, and the winner of that fight was touted to fight Manny Pacquiao. I remember that because I watched it very closely. You were in that fight till the cuts started coming into effect, and then it went to a technical decision in 10 rounds. What can you remember about that fight, and were you aware that the winner of that fight could be fighting Manny Pacquiao?
I tried not to focus on the what ifs and focus on the prize right now.
Yeah.
I wanted to focus solely on Buckethead Bradley. That's what I wanted to focus on, because I knew he was going to use 3 weapons: his hands, his head, and his shoulders. That's how he fight. He got that bull mentality. It's not a style that, you know, nobody's used to. It was a style of, you know, he want to rough you up and come in and rush in. So that in that fight, was the first time I was cut. That was the first time I was cut. And you can see I still got the scars.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah. Yeah.
I got the car right here, and they cut me right here. I mean, when I
Wow.
tell you, it was a pain that I never even felt before. He just kept rushing and rushing and rushing and rushing, and the ref wasn't doing nothing. The ref wanted, but the ref wasn't doing nothing. So ultimately, I couldn't see out my right eye, and they had to stop the fight.
Wow.
And I wish, like looking at today, that it didn't go down like that, because I think I would have won. I would have, edged it out.
Yeah, for sure. You were right in that fight. Then you fought the great Lucas Matthysse in June 2011. That was an awesome fight from you because he's a fighting machine.
Argentinian monster machine.
What can you remember about that fight?
Oh man, that to date, I can say that was my hardest opponent to date. That was because around that time, I was struggling to make 140. I've been fighting 140 my whole life, my amateur career, then to professional career. And around that time, I totally grew out of the 140 division. So I struggled to make the weight. I made the weight, but that weight was not coming off easy as it was in previous fights. So I knew that the weight issue was going to be a problem for me in that fight. I toughed it out though and got the victory, but the weight cut had me tired after the 6th round. I was like totally, my energy level, my legs was just shot. I had to finish the fight purely on heart and grit. That's it. I didn't have no energy at all. I just had to fit. Mentally I had to be there, and just heart. That's how I had to pull it off. Because Matthysse, he's coming. He's coming all night long. So I had to pull that one. I had to pull that one out of my hand.
Yeah, no, that was a top fight. Now, February 2012, you fought Marcos Maidana, who I thought gave Floyd Mayweather one of his toughest fights. He obviously gives everyone nightmares. He defeated Adrian Broner, and you schooled him that night. That was a classic performance from you. What was going through your mind?
See, let me tell you, people forget that fight when they say Devon Alexander, people forget about it. That was an awesome performance. Everybody say, even Marcos Maidana said he wanted to quit after the Alexander fight. I want you guys to go back and look. In an interview that Marcos Maidana did, he said he wanted to quit after my fight because of how he looked. How I beat him so bad. For that fight, I had to redeem myself. I was coming up from 147, and that was my first fight at 147, and I fought Lucas Matthysse, so they was looking for me to look better than I did with the Lucas Matthysse fight because I moved up.
Yeah.
So I was stronger. I was faster. I was hitting harder. I thought I knocked him down in the 4th or the 5th round, I think, and the referee didn't count it. But I thought I dropped him. But today it was a shutout. I don't think he won one round.
No, it was a masterful performance. Floyd Mayweather did not beat him the way you beat him. You beat him better than Floyd Mayweather. In October,
I was on point. I was zoned in. I was focused.
Yeah. October 2012, you fought Randall Bailey for the IBF welterweight world title, 2-division world champion. How did you feel defeating Randall Bailey, who's a power puncher?
Oh man, that was another one. That was another fight that I had to be careful with. I had to be careful because he had some type of dynamite in that right hand that'll send you to the moon. So I had to be careful. Randall Bailey, I knew that if I boxed smart, and stay away from that right hand, I was going to become IBF world champion at 147. And that's what I did. I boxed smart. I listened to my coach. I listened to my trainer, my corner. I boxed smart and got out of there. That's the name of the game, is being smart. At the end of the day, and I can hit. In that fight, I did exact what my coach told me to do.
Yeah, no, great performance.
I don't think he touched me with that right hand he got. He probably grazed me with it, but all night I knew to stay away from that right hand.
In December 2013, you fought Sean Porter, who's one of the best welterweights, you can ever imagine. He's so hard to beat. He's like a bull.
Another Bradley.
Yeah, how did you find him? Another Bradley, yeah.
Another Bradley. That was around the time, there was another Bradley. I thought it was a close fight. I thought it could have went either way. I did let some rounds slip away from me. But he was another Bradley, the rough and rugged type of fight coming in, rough you up. He headbutted me too. No excuses though. He won a few extra more rounds than me. So he got the victory. But he didn't do anything special that night. It was another Bradley fight that he edged it out.
Yep. December 2014, you fought Amir Khan. What can you remember about fighting Amir Khan? How was he like? He's very fast, isn't he?
Fighting Amir Khan, yeah, Amir Khan was fast. Around that time, I was going through some personal issues, some personal problems. I had had surgery, and I was going through a lot of, things in my life around that time. So I wasn't totally focused on that in that Amir Khan fight. It was a time in my career where, I was dealing with some things, some personal issues, and Amir Khan did not get Devon Alexander best.
Yep.
He did not get the best of Alexander the Great. He did not. He got, maybe 60% of Devon Alexander, because I was just totally not focused for personal, dealing with
injuries
issues.
and you weren't right. What can you remember about the whole build-up? Because it was a big build-up, that fight, wasn't it?
It was a big build-up, and everybody wanted to see that fight. That was the hottest fight that could be made, and everybody wanted to see that fight. And like I said, it was a fight where I was just totally not myself at all. I was not myself.
Now, with boxing, what's happening now? You've got your own YouTube podcast. What's happening in your life now, Devon? You're still fighting. You still obviously want to have a shot at the title. You're still looking fit. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing now.
Okay, right now for Devon Alexander, first, I'm a businessman now. I have 3 restaurants that I own right now called Crab Kings. I have real estate. I have 10 houses that I rent out here in Missouri, and I'm dipping and dabbling a little stock and just trying to diversify my portfolio, for the future. But recently, I just signed a 3-fight deal with PBC.
Wow.
So I'm excited about that. This is going to give me another shot at the world title, and that's basically what I'm really focused on, because I want to leave this sport on top. I want to leave this sport on top. I don't want to, leave a nasty taste in nobody's mouth about Devon Alexander. What I want people to hear, when people say Devon Alexander, I want it to be for some good. He was great. He was humanitarian. He did awesome things in the community. He gave to kids. He was an amazing fighter. He came back and won a world title. That's what I want them to say. I want them to say I'm one of the greatest.
Yeah, successful businessman. Have you met Haymon with PBC? What's he like?
Absolutely.
What's he like as a person?
Nice guy, humble guy. He cares about the fighter.
Yeah.
Al cares about the fighter, and the fighter is who he cares about. And that's what I like about him. You know, he's not a trickster. He tells you, he gives it to you straight. You know, he makes sure you get what you're supposed to deserve. And all the time, I have no complaints about it. Al has been nothing but good to me for my career.
And he's the type of guy that's never ringside. He doesn't like the limelight. It's all for the fighters. He's not jumping in front of the camera, in front of the
Yeah.
fighters and me. He's one of those guys that just stays in the background. A very powerful man, but he's not doing it for ego. He's doing
Very
it to help
powerful.
the fighter. Yeah.
Very powerful.
Out of all the current fighters at the moment, Devon, who would you like to fight?
At this moment.
Pacquiao?
So right now, like I said, I got a 3-fight deal.
Yep.
I got a 3-fight deal. I'm excited about that. Right now, this has been a year and about year and a half since I fought. I want to do a tune-up, and then after that, I would like one of the fighters, you know, Thurman or Sean Porter again, or one of the top welterweights. You know, after my tune-up fight, I would like to get back in there with a top 10 welterweight and just keep moving up. Because like for me, I'm when I'm totally focused on my game, I'm hard to beat, and that's what I'm getting. That's mentally, that's what I'm getting back to, and I would love to fight the top 10 after my tune-up, my next tune-up, which I think my next fight will be sometime in January, maybe the end of January, maybe early February, and after that tune-up, I look to be in a big fight.
Would you like to fight Manny Pacquiao one day?
Absolutely.
How do you think you'd go with Manny?
I think I'd be too smart for Manny. I'm a softball too, just like him.
Yeah.
I'm more slippery than Pacquiao. Pacquiao's an in and out fighter. I'm more of a technical fighter, so he's gonna have to come to me. So I'm gonna be able to pick him off. If he come with all that flurry, it's not gonna work because I'm already be gone. So I think I'll be able to utilize the speed that he has with technique and smarts and being smart and countering. You know, that's how Marquez was able to beat him, because he was able to counter him and time him coming in.
Yeah. Before we sign the interview off, Devon, who are some of the best characters you've met in boxing? And give us a funny story, one of your favorite funny stories in boxing, because there are a lot of characters.
One of the funny stories that when I was 17 years old, Shelly Finkel invited me and my brother to see Mike Tyson.
Wow.
He fought in I think it was Alabama or somewhere in the South. He fought down there, and we met Tyson, and after the fight, of course, Tyson knocked the guy out in the first round, of course. So Shelly Finkel told us to come to the back of his dressing room to meet Mike. He said, when we came in, he said, "Oh, so these is the amateurs you said that was good? These are the amateurs you said this will be world champion? Come on over here." He grabbed my shoulder so hard that I can still feel it 10 years later. He grabbed my shoulder. Come on over here. It was a rough. Like, make sure you work hard, train hard, and do what you're supposed to do so you can get up to a world title. I said, "Yes, sir." It was rough.
Wow.
But that was an amazing feeling to meet Mike, you know, because everybody want to meet Mike. You know, That was around prime. So it was amazing I was able to meet him.
No, awesome story. Thank you for your time, Devon. And you need to come to Australia one day, down under. We need to have you here because
I definitely need. Aren't you guys like 24 hours ahead of us?
19 hours ahead and a day in front. So you guys here in Australia, we're a day in front. But when you come here, you'll have a great time. You just stay away from Vegemite.
Yeah.
This is
okay.
Vegemite. Stay away from that. Stick to the steaks and all that type of stuff, and you'll have a great time.
So is Sakio Bika from there?
Yes, Sakio Bika's in Australia. Jeff Fennick, he's Australian. Jeff Horn, You know, they're
Yeah,
all
the guy
Australian.
that beat Pacquiao.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I definitely want to get to Australia because you guys, it's like you guys got your own world down there, and you guys not bothering nobody.
Exactly. And one day you might be able to fight Jeff Horde. Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be amazing. I heard he got a big following down there too.
Yeah, well, you can call him out now. Tell him whatever you want to tell him. Tell him
Hey,
you.
tell him, let's make it happen. Tell him to get with his people. I get with my people, and let's make it happen. Horn Alexander, what a fight!
It's already
What
got a
a
great ring
fight!
to it. Okay.
Oh
Thank you.
man, what a fight!
Thank you, Devon, for your time. All the best. God bless, and we'll talk soon. And
Thank you, my friend.
let's hope Horn Alexander.
Yes, sir. Horn Alexander. Hey, tell your boy, don't be scared now. Tell him I want him. Tell him this would be the fight of the century right here. Tell him let's make it happen.
Yep, sounds great. Thank you, Devon.